Welcome, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Trenton, obviously classic live stream. Today it's going to be obviously slightly a little bit different. It's unusual, obviously, we get to do this obviously on a like a regular basis, but you know, today we're going to be running a highly requested feature. It's been highly requested for some time now. It's been a highly requested feature, and we're going to be operating on not on that one today. Not on quick drive. We did this one last time. It's like a quick, obviously up and down route. Obviously, as you guys already saw. Um, but this time, we're not going to go that. No, we're not going to operate the other bike today. This time we're going to be operating something a bit different. We're going to be driving, obviously on HS1 again. This was the highly requested feature. Obviously, a lot of people were wondering whether I was going to do like high speed one again, like HS1. And so what I've decided to do was, yeah, give the viewers what they want. I mean, if you want this sort of stuff, then we'll do it. So today, as you guys can obviously can tell, Far Horizon's already been done. I think that's a bronze. Yeah, it's a bronze. Frostball is the one in winter, so we won't be doing any of these. Um, this one we're going to wait until obviously the winter time anyway, because it's not, you know what I mean, it's not really the time really to be having this one. We're going to wait until winter until we do this one again. But this one, Far Horizons and there and back again, we can definitely do because they are summer ones. It is, of course, ladies and gentlemen, and obviously anyone, obviously gender fluid, you know, all that. Happy Pride Month as well. Pride Month is now upon us. It is the 1st of June. June is Pride Month, so happy Pride to those obviously out there who do follow me from pretty much all over the country, you know what I mean? So, you know, if you are obviously part of the obviously the Pride community, you are welcome on this channel. You are quite welcome on this channel, okay? Don't worry, they won't, you know, we're not going to judge you for anything, so you know. Right, we're going to start off today on the there and back again. This is high speed. Now, sadly, I can't do high speed with the Pride, like it's train boat. There's a 395, I think, at Ramsgate Depot at the moment, which has got a train bow, basically like a rainbow ribbon that goes around the train. But we sadly don't have that on this route because otherwise it probably would have been appropriate, obviously, for this month. But you know, again, it's train simulator. What do you expect? I mean, like, you know, I can't. I mean, I can probably edit the train, but I'll have to do that later. I'm not going to do that right now, but you know, right. So we're going to be starting today, obviously, with an Ebbsfleet to St Pancras and back again. So we're going to be going there and back for this afternoon's trip. This was the highly requested feature, as I mentioned earlier. This is one that a lot of people were hoping I was going to do again. So because obviously it was quite a highly requested one, I just thought, well, why not? And sadly, anyway, let's just grab a tissue, hang on. Sorry about that, guys. I need to get a tissue in a minute because I've got a bit of a problem with my nose at the moment. Yeah, sadly, due to the high pollen levels, obviously in the area, obviously where I come from, there has been a lot of hay fever going around at the moment. So, like, I suffer quite badly from hay fever, so I can't really obviously do these streams every week. So what I've decided to do? Oh, wait a minute, we've been given a 12-car train. Hang on, what? Why have we been given a 12-car train? Okay, interesting. But anyway, we're going to continue. Now, normally, obviously, when you guys obviously see this, because I think the overhead, yeah, the pantograph's already up, so we don't need to change that. So yeah, welcome to the uh class 395 Javelin. The Javelins I have been on before. These are the trains that I do. Well, I really do. You know, obviously I do go on. Yeah, this is a 12-car train. Oh, blimey. So you guys obviously are aware, obviously, this is the Class 395 Javelin. This actually, I've been on this, when I first went to London, I didn't go on this, but in 2009, when they introduced the service, it was actually quite popular, so I'm just going to open the doors now, just set them, and then set off and then go, so it says we've got to depart at 13:27? Yeah, 27, so we've just got to try and, you know. Yeah, so the pantograph's already up, so we're not too, obviously, bad with that. I'm hoping the doors will close in a minute, because it's time to get to a point where we're going to depart in a minute. Now, sadly, on Train Simulator, you can't actually shut the doors, like, manually. For some reason, it doesn't let you, so... Right. Have the lights gone out? Right, excellent. And away we go. Here we go then, guys. We're ready to go back onto HS1 again. So, this was obviously the highly requested feature. If anyone on this channel would like to request a route you want me to do leave a comment down below or on my community tab page, like on the community tab. I am grateful for any suggestions if you guys want me to do any like routes, and I'll happily obviously do them for you. So obviously bear in mind, obviously each route obviously does depend obviously on what is available, because not every route is available obviously in the list I've got, but most routes will definitely be available as and when obviously possible. So now we've got a bit of a limit at the moment because we've got a 50 limit, so I'm just going to bring the throttle down. It still says 50. This is what... Put it on a neutral a minute, just for the moment. Now the thing with HS1 is that once we get onto the actual main like physical line, I think it's like 140, so yeah, 140 mile an hour, we'll get to that in a minute. Obviously we can't go too fast at the moment because obviously if we go too quick. Right, here we go. So yeah, so welcome to HS1. This is the Thames Tunnel, which goes underneath the Thames at the Swanscombe Peninsula and ends out somewhere near. It basically ends out somewhere near Lakeside. I think it's like Thurrock Lakeside area, from what I can remember. This, of course, is quite a favourite of mine. I mean, I don't always travel on this route anymore because obviously the trains are just so overcrowded. Southeastern, obviously, they seem to have a bit of a tendency to not operate enough carriages, obviously, on this service. So what we now have is that the trains themselves, because they're only 6 coaches in length, it's not physically possible, obviously, to fit everyone on one train. So I've decided now to not take high speed into London because the trains are just so overcrowded and the service is so over like popular. It's pretty much, yeah. It basically the slower trains seem to be more better now because they seem to have got more carriages. So sometimes you just gotta be careful. Sometimes you gotta choose what service you're gonna go on and that. So, and obviously, as you guys can obviously see. Just getting some screenshots because what's going to happen is obviously I need to try and update some of the stuff. So obviously when you guys obviously read a lot of it. So yeah, so here we are on high speed. This is 12 coaches, and you know this is what's mad about it. You know, 140 mile an hour. I've got to keep an eye on the cab though because it seems like because the in-cab signalling, the TVM signalling. Sorry about that. That was the alarm for something. Luckily that's gone. I think that was the oh. Yeah, so there's obviously an alarm's just gone off somewhere, and I think that's probably because it was like the dead man's handle alarm. Because I think because I haven't touched it for ages, it probably doesn't like it. So yeah, 12 coaches. Quite a rare sight on South Eastern High Speed now. Literally, if you compare it, right, the longest train in the UK at the moment is the 18 coaches, the 18 car train of Eurostars, class 373s. The 373s, they are slowly being retired. They have been in service since 1990, I think 1993, 94. So they're getting to a point where they're going to be retiring soon. So we're going to be getting to a point soon where they'll probably retire, and then who knows? So sorry, I'm looking down a minute, guys, because basically the speedometer here is not actually the actual speedometer because this is in kilometres an hour, so it's a bit different to the miles an hour I've got here. So that's why I'm obviously having to look down a little bit because it's almost as if I can't see kilometres an hour to that. So we're still going at 200 kilometres an hour though. It's still going at like 125. It's still quite fast. So it is still quite fast for a train like this. Like I would say, when you look at it, 125 mile an hour is quite quick, despite the fact that obviously it is on HS1. So I don't want to put the throttle up too much because it does look as if we might be, yeah, we're going to be entering 200 now. So we're just going to put it on a neutral state at the moment. Yeah, so as you guys are obviously aware, HS1 was built in stages. So stage one went from, as far as I'm aware, it went from Ashford, like Dollars Moor, CTRL, that's basically Channel Tunnel Rail Link, up to, I believe it's Southfleet. That was like stage one. Stage two then went from Southfleet, which is basically like Ebbsfleet Junction, to pretty much up towards St Pancras International. Went straight through Ebbsfleet International, Stratford, and that. So it obviously, you know, we had section one, section two. Section one, I think, opened in 2003, but section two didn't open apparently until 2007. So there was only really 4 years that there was a bit of a difference between. So now the one thing we have got to worry about it here is the fact it says 170. I'm on 150 at the moment. It's saying to go back up to 140, but I can't really see the point because it looks as if I think there might be a train in front of us. I'll go to 170 as a temporary measure for now. It's saying 200. See, this is the thing. This is why I'm a little bit worried because it's almost as if it's telling us there's obviously a train in front, and it looks as if we might, yeah, might be too close behind it. Now, this might seem to you guys, obviously, it might be a little bit of a shorter stream today. The reason for that is because this afternoon, a lot of us are going to be doing some stuff. We're going to be going out in the garden. Well, I'll be, because it's quite sunny. It's not really sunny, but it's cloudy at the moment, but it is going to be nice and sunny a bit later on. So I wanted to go out in the garden for a little bit because I haven't actually been out for quite some time. So saying 200 again. What are you doing? Is it 170, 200 or 225? What do you want me to do? Yeah, they're saying 170 again. So my theory is I think there's a train in front of us. I think we might be going a bit too quick. We've got 4 minutes until we get to Stratford. I mean, that's not... Okay, now it's saying 160. What's the next signal going to say? 130? we're just coming into Stratford now, so it does look as if I think this might be the point where Stratford will then become... Just trying to lower the brakes as much as we can. We don't want to stop the train completely, because otherwise it will then go into a bit of a spasm mode. So... It'll be 100, I reckon, in the next one. 80. I believe it's like 50 anyway, so... Now this is not always this is always common actually on high speed. You always slow down. Oh, hang on. It says to me there obviously seems to be some sort of train in front of us, so I don't know what to expect really from that. I don't want to go too quick. See, this is the... So yeah, 80 is... Sorry if I'm not commenting very much. I'm just trying to get it to a stable point where I can then, you know... So we're now looking for the 12 car stopping mark. Okay, well that's the 6 car stopping mark. Okay, so these doors don't open. Okay. So maybe I did need to stop a bit more further back. Okay. Well, it's 13:39. So we've managed to do that quite well actually, to be honest. Now I did have a little bit of a theory, because I've had to send a message. Ah, excellent. Dovetail support has just gone and sent me a message back. It looks as if we have solved the Thameslink problem. The Class 700 didn't want to work. So, hopefully now, it should start to work. I don't know. So it looks as if I think they have managed to sort the problem out. So, hopefully, now that the problem's been sorted, we'll be able to play the Thameslink route. So what we'll do in a minute, guys, we'll go on to that Thameslink route. We'll see what it does, because it looks as if the problem looks as if it has been sorted out. So yeah, Dovetail Games or Dovetail Sport, if you are watching this, thank you, because it's been something I've been trying to work out for a while, how you're supposed to operate it. Because I tried to look at the master key, but it wouldn't let me do it, because obviously the controls on the 700s are completely different to all the controls on like 395s and 465s and that. So it is totally different to everything. So yeah, for those obviously at Dovetail Support, thank you very much for getting back to me quite quickly as well. It's quite a quick response actually. Um, But yeah, thank you very much because I was really struggling to work out how it was going to work. So I'm just an amateur train like enthusiast, so I'm not really professional, so I don't know how everything works. I've never been in a 700 cab before, so realistically, I don't know what everything does. So thank you very much, though. Right, onwards we go to St Pancras International. The thing with St Pancras is, it was actually remodeled in the early 2000s because obviously the awaiting, obviously the arrival of HS1. Because originally it wasn't supposed to terminate at St Pancras. Originally it was going to be like a whole new like underground terminal for like high speed services, and in the end, it never really got to that. So you know, in the end, the only underground thing we got really out of St Pancras International, obviously, when they were drawing the plans up, the only thing that was actually underground was the Thameslink platforms, like the first Capital Connect ones, because obviously it was part of the Thameslink 2000 project, so they had to obviously devise something, but But I'm very surprised at that, actually. I'm quite happy they've managed to get back in touch with me quite quickly, actually, the Dovetail support, actually. That's quite surprising, because, like, because usually whenever I get in touch with anyone, it takes like what 3 working days. So for them to actually get back in touch with me, it's actually quite good because then that it does restore my trust a little bit in them because it does seem that the customer support is actually there to help. I was given a job offer by them, I think, like a few years ago. I never took it though because I think because it was going to be a bit much, obviously, for me at the time, but also because I was in school still at that time. I don't think the school are offering anything, so and it looks like we're having to slow down again. Oh yeah, because we're going to be approaching in a minute. So yeah, so we're now going to be slowing down again because it only takes like 6 minutes to get to St Pancras. So you guys should be aware of this by now. Like literally, you guys should be actually aware of this by now. It takes 6 minutes or so to get to St Pancras International because of how quick it is. So. Also, bear in mind, guys, we've got to do the return journey for this, so we have got to actually come back out of St Pancras and back into daylight again. So here we are. We are now approaching the point, obviously at the end of the tunnel. We're now on 40 mile an hour. I think it's like 40 miles. Yeah, 40 mile an hour. Carefully does it. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your train captain speaking. We are shortly arriving at St Pancras International. Change here for all other national rail services and the tube. Platform 13 we are routed into, so number 13 we go. So yeah, with the obviously HS1 obviously reaching St Pancras International was in 2000, on the 14th of November 2007. They switched over from Waterloo International the previous day. So presume we've got to go right down to the end then, because we've got 12 coaches, so... 12 cars, obviously, I think I've done a 12 car unit before, but it has been obviously a little bit difficult, because in the past... Don't want it to break too hard, because otherwise it's going to bloom in, you know? What time was I supposed to get here? 13:47. So, yeah, we're pretty much on time. We are bang on time. So, let me just check. Okay. So now we switch over to the return leg. We're now going to be going back to Ebbsfleet International. So, right. Here we go then. We make our return trip back to Ebbsfleet International then. So normally, obviously at this time, I'd usually have a bit of a drink, but actually, because of it being such a short journey, it's not worth me having a drink. Usually I have a drink like halfway through to obviously, you know, refresh obviously myself. What I will do is I'll have a drinks break. Once we get back to Ebbsfleet International, I'll have a drinks break and then we'll have a look at the Thameslink route and see how it works. Because I swear it's got to work sometime. So hopefully, now that I've been given some instructions on how you're supposed to work it, hopefully now it should work like properly. Hopefully it should then have a bit more of a proper run. So I don't want to go too fast down this hill because it is obviously a downhill. I just realised that. But yeah, it's unusual obviously that obviously I usually do like requested routes, but a lot of people have been asking me, even on like Instagram and that, and Snapchat and all that. Like a lot of people have been asking me when are you going to do high speed again, and like, I said, well, I'll try and do it at some point, but you know it does depend obviously what other routes I do. So to those obviously who did request this, your request has been acknowledged. We are doing high speed again, so it is unusual. Like, you know, I get people have got requests. I know people obviously want to see what other routes are out there. I know a lot of people are interested in that sort of stuff. So I didn't want to get a speeding. See, this is the thing. I didn't want to like get a speed warning or whatever because obviously of it being, you know. So yeah, so once again we're back to obviously having to look at the dashboard again because obviously we're on TVM signalling again, so we're obviously having to be a little bit careful. Yes, 140 mile an hour. Now, I don't know how exactly you can get to 140 mile an hour on here. I have got to 140 obviously very closely before on here, but then I've had to slow down quite a lot because obviously after a certain amount of like distance, you then have to obviously slow down. So, Eurostars do 186 miles an hour when they go from St Pancras to the Channel Tunnel, so it's not like it's a big difference. It's probably about another 46 mile an hour on top, so you know. Now, when this section of HS1 obviously opened, only Eurostars were using it. Obviously, before they even actually opened the actual like line properly, uh, there was actually a pair of class, I think 70, no, class 92s, I think. They went through obviously with Eurostars on like ventilation tests or whatever. I mean, I read it in a book. The book's called Tunnel Vision, and obviously I don't know if you can still get it anywhere, but I know it was available, I think, from like a lot of bookshops. Obviously, when I was a lot younger, because I was quite fascinated by HS1, obviously from the start. So I kind of wanted to see what the history was like, obviously at the time. And obviously this was way back, just like going back to like pretty much being like 13, like 12, 13 years old. So that was me literally 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, and I've still got the book. I've still got a book somewhere upstairs in my bedroom. So, but the book is called Tunnel Vision. I don't know if anyone can obviously find it anymore, but I know that it was obviously available for a certain amount of time. So, obviously, for those who have just commented, I'm not going to be able to see your comments for the moment. You're going to have to obviously let me know one way or another. But I promise you, if I can get onto the Thameslink route after this, then we will. I promise you guys, I will definitely do it. I mean, so far this is quite a simple stream. Like literally, we've only been going for like half an hour. Like it's not actually that bad. So sometimes we'll just do a little bit of a run up and down. You know, just keep. It's not just to keep people happy. It's also to try and keep myself a bit more amused as well, because then I can keep route learning. I think I'm going to overshoot the platform. I always get worried when that happens. I don't know why. Maybe because the platform's so short. I think. I don't know. Mind you, he's on a downhill gradient here, isn't it? Yeah, I think over there is the Westfield, but obviously Westfield's obviously not on here, I don't think, in this view. So I think Westfield Shopping Centre, from what I can remember, oh, it is on there. Oh, it is just called Shopping Centre. Okay, that opened in 2011, so it wasn't really necessarily a new edition or an old edition. So mind you, we're not doing too bad actually today. I don't want to, I don't want to break too much, guys. Actually, but we're not actually doing too bad in terms of getting like points in that, because the point counter over here is saying 728. Gold star I think it's like 1,000. So if we keep this up, then I think the hopeful is hopefully we'll be able to then hit the 1,000 mark today. checking because my phone seems to have a lot of dirt on it at the moment. Right, here we go then. Right, we'll go back to 140 mile an hour again. But yeah, when I get to Ebbsfleet International, I think I'm going to have to check something because it looks as if I think we might have a little bit of dirt somewhere. It's a little bit cleaner now, but you know. But yeah, so yeah, welcome to HS1. 78%, it's not too bad. Okay. Yeah, so I was just checking to make sure my phone was alright, because it seems to be that my phone seems to be having odd things at the moment, where it seems to be it doesn't want to do certain things, but obviously it's fine, but it's just, you know, very odd. Now the only reason why I'm not putting the throttle up too much, like the speed up too much, is because obviously last time I tried to do it over like 100, like 200, it starts to almost like tell me to slow down. So, you know. Obviously, I do apologise for the sniffling in the background. That is unfortunately me, because I'm not feeling that great at the moment. But, you know, that's because obviously of the hay fever. But I mean, hay fever at the moment is just, you know. There's one of the ventilation shafts just passed. I'm hoping we'll come out into daylight in a minute. Lots of alarms going off. Yep, so we are now on 140. That is the maximum line speed on here for obviously a Javelin. Javelins can only do 140. They can do, I think, 150, I think, max. But as far as I'm aware, 140, I think, is the safe limit on here because I think they've obviously limited it. Like, I think they've limited it, obviously, in the past when they've had, obviously, speed runs on here. So, Eurostar, actually, a bit of a general fact once you get out of the tunnel. Hold on. But yeah, as we get out of the tunnel, something to actually note: the Eurostars, Class 373, they actually hit like a UK highest speed record, which was actually 208 miles an hour. That was set across the Medway Viaduct, which obviously spans the River Medway, and that was set, I believe, in 2000 and I think 2003 or 2004. Before I think it was before Section 1 of HS1 actually opened. So, in the end, they hit like, I think, 208 miles an hour, and it is still, I think, the fastest speed record in the UK as a result, because no other train has managed to beat it. Probably because it's not really possible to do so. HS2, however, apparently reckon they're going to be going for like 160, but I can't see how they're going to be able to hit that speed when, you know. Only time will tell. Only time will tell what the maximum speed's going to be, what the new speed record's going to be. But at the moment, Eurostars Class 373 still hold the record. So there is a plaque, I think, at the Medway Viaduct, like literally at the viaduct itself. There is a plaque where it does actually tell you, obviously, when it was and what, you know. So far, we haven't had to lower our speed or anything yet, because that's quite surprising. Because every time, you know, on the way up, as you guys obviously saw, we had to lower our speeds quite a lot. So I have a feeling, I reckon now we probably don't have to. So probably because all the trains have already left London, or they've probably been delayed because obviously we're in front of it. So, but you know. Obviously, if anyone is interested in some more HS1 like shenanigans and all that sort of stuff, I know there is a quick drive mode. You can drive these sort of trains on HS1. There are other trains you can also drive on it, but I think it is subject to obviously whether the signalling system would work with it. So, you know, as a bit of a reminder, requests, obviously I'm open to requests. Do be aware though, obviously it does depend what sort of request you want me to do, what sort of train you want me to run, and what route you want me to do it on. So, you know. Yeah, no surprises, but we haven't had a speed warning yet, so far so good. I reckon we'll get one in a minute though. As we're starting to approach obviously the end obviously of this section. Yep, there we go. So there we go. So basically there's the start obviously of the Thurrock Viaduct, obviously, which obviously goes over a lot of the lines. The C2C lines obviously to Grays, and obviously up towards Purfleet and that. We go then also over the Dartford Tunnel, exit lanes, under the QE2 bridge, and then we're straight into the Thames Tunnel again. So, you know, this is how it works. This is how, you know, this is how a whole lot of it does work. So, I reckon it'll be 170, I reckon, in a minute. I'm having to put the brakes on quite a fair bit earlier because I know that it will obviously change as we go obviously up towards the surface. So, but you know, it's 10 as 100, so we need to now try and lower our speed completely. That should be easy. It should be quite easy to do. 100 usually like 60, so it's not actually too bad. But yeah, so we are approaching Ebbsfleet International now, platform 6 again. Obviously, because it looks as if we can't use the lower platform for some reason. I don't know why, but 100 is now the minimum. That's on kilometres, by the way, not miles an hour. And we are out of the Thames Tunnel into the Kent countryside. Miles an hour, it's basically 80 kilometres an hour we've now got, so next one will probably be like just an indicator saying 80. I don't know. Here we go. So yeah, so as a 12-car train, we're going to have to try and obviously try and stop obviously at 6-car mark, obviously if we can. think it was 14 something. 14:04. So we are obviously 2 minutes late, but to be fair, that was only because obviously we didn't, we did depart quite late. So okay, doors are open. Now, I'd imagine this route will probably be going to Faversham or to Ramsgate. If you look at the recent southeastern routes, you can probably see now that a lot of high-speed services, obviously via this route, either terminate at Faversham or they go on to Ramsgate. The other way, however, though, it goes via Canterbury West and obviously via Ashford and Canterbury West, and then it terminates at Margate. So the section between Margate and Ramsgate seems to be getting quite a regular service at the moment, surprisingly. So, well done, I have completed the scenario. We've only got -8. That's not bad. And what do we end with? Only a bronze. That's not too bad. I mean, you must admit it's not it's not too bad, but with anything it'll be late or early anyway, whatever happens. Right, so now that we have completed high speed, we'll probably won't be doing another high speed driver's library for a while. But one thing I do want to try out is to see whether the Thameslink route would actually work, because the thing is, right, at the moment, okay, I can operate the class, obviously 319, because obviously pretty much anyone can, they can operate in that sort of route. But the one train I do want to try out is this one, because I've now had word from Dovetail's support that apparently it's the master key you've got to switch on. Give me a minute to sort out what's going on here. So yeah, so I'm just gonna have a little bit of a break a minute, obviously just have a little bit of a drink and whatnot. Um but right, okay. I'm just checking on Snapchat at the moment. I'm not going to be sharing my Snapchat for the moment, guys, because a lot of people have been a little bit abusive with some stuff. Now I've got to try and work out. Now I don't want the Isle of Wight. Now I don't. How do I say this? I don't want to be too much of a bugbear, but I do want to try it and see like how this all works, because you know what I'm like, guys. You know what I'm like. I will try and run the service. Um, Raynham to Rochester, yeah, because Strood's not on. Oh, Strood is on here. Do I want to go to Strood? Or do I not go to Strood? Yeah, I will go to Strood today. Okay, we'll set that to the summer. What's the time? 14:08. So, it does look as if I have managed to get some information. I'm going to set it for 14:15. Just need to have a little bit of drink in a moment. It seems I've got with some information the fact that it seems there's been something to do with, according to their support, it reckons it's the master key, but I don't know where the master key is. um, so yes, Dovetail Support obviously just wrote back to me just saying, "Hi Thameslink, welcome to Dovetail Support. We're working forward to helping you today. The most likely reason for these issues is that the master key is still in the off position, so the start procedure should be as follows. Turn the master key to the on position. Now, the only problem is, right, when we've done train sim before, the master key isn't something we've had to deal with. So I'm just going to turn, obviously, this on. I'm going to see if it definitely works first, though, because if it doesn't, and it crashes, then we won't obviously go on, obviously, any further, but you know what I mean? It looks as if it is going to crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Please don't do this today, Train Simulator. I need to operate this. I need to see if it works. Why are we in platform 2? I thought we were going to be in like platform 3. Okay. Right, so we're in a 700 unit. I'm just trying to check. So yeah, so we are, yeah, so this is the 700 unit. So this is what they've told us seems to be the problem. So where is the master key switch? Ah, so that's why it didn't work earlier on. So now we've got to do, basically, we've got to turn that on if we're going to try and do any routes. Right, okay, so now we know how this works. Okay. Set the lights on, because why not? I can't hear anything. I hate to say, I can't hear very much. Can I open the door? I can do that, but I can't open. Okay, so I can't open the door. Okay, so you turn the master suite key on, and then move the reverser to forward, which then sets off the AWS. That's fine. Acknowledge it. Yes, we know that. That's fine. Move the throttle into the power track. So it looks as if the master key was the problem. Right. There's a network. Not a network. There's an electro star coming in 375. Right. So now we open the doors. Get a nice screenshot of that as well, because it's very rare that you get these screenshots. Now, let's see if it actually does work. Now, considering it's an 8-car train, I'm not surprised. We're only going to Strood, though, so what we'll do, we'll call it Gillingham, we'll call it Chatham, we'll call it Rutstrom, and, you know. Now, if I turn it on, it works. It's only just gone and worked. Right, so it looks as if the master key was the problem. Okay. Right, well, at least it works. I thought it was something else, but no, it definitely does work. So, problem has been solved. The problem has clearly been solved now, so... Well, I didn't realise we had this much of a problem. Okay, well, it obviously works, so thank you very much to whoever was at support, actually, because that was quite a... That was a bit of a difficult task, actually, to try and get that working, because it seemed like it didn't want to work for me at first, so... But now it does work, so hopefully we'll be able to do some more routes in future. The only reason why we're doing this today, guys, is because obviously I wanted to see if it actually did work, because the problem with the Class 700 is it looks as if it's the master switch that needs to be sorted out. So, yeah, thank you, obviously, to the support. Sorry, I know I keep saying thank you, but, like, you know, at least I know now what what to do. I really, you know, I do like the fact, obviously, that a lot of the train community and that, like, railway community is quite helpful here, because I have no understanding of, like, everything. So... One thing that is a little bit worrying is obviously, yeah. But yeah, so welcome aboard the service to Luton. Because no one wants to go to Luton today. I don't know why, but like, you know, when I've been doing these routes, it's actually been quite funny because, you know, because of a lot of it. So we'll finish it on the hour mark. We'll probably finish here at Gillingham. At least we know it works. The only reason why I did it to Strood is just in case it didn't work. So, you know. There's an old Electro Star in the sidings there. Very old. The 3-car ones as well. It's quite rare, actually, to be honest. So now we've got to find the 8-car marks. This is going to be interesting. Got a train wash there. Lovely. Another electro star in the depot. Okay. I So yeah, so now the template route now works, like the unit itself actually now works. I'm quite happy with that. So hopefully, when we now do some train sims and that, we'll be able to use the Class 700, obviously, in our own routes. So I'm quite pleased with that now, actually. It's made me a little bit better, actually, because I didn't realise it involved the master switch, obviously, having to be switched on. Now, the thing is, right, I can kind of get why they have to have the master switch on, but at the same time, when I've done other streams, it's not really been the case. It's not really been needed, so yeah, yeah, that works. Yes, exit. Yes, thank you. So yeah, so it actually does work. Yeah, I know it's we've only been travelling for like 6 minutes or so, but you know what I mean. Right, excellent. So we're now going to leave it obviously here. So that's the last, obviously, of obviously today. So thank you all for obviously joining. It is pretty much now an hour. It's now pretty much on the hour mark. So you know. But yeah, so thank you very much, obviously, for those who have joined today. And I'll be back at some point in 2 weeks' time. Uh, a quick reminder: some train sim classic ones obviously will not always be like live, so these will not always be on every 2 weeks. Because during the summer, if it does get too hot, there will obviously be delays, but it will catch up obviously as we go into the autumn. So, for example, if one gets cancelled, there'll be an extra one obviously somewhere throughout the year. So, obviously, do be on the lookout in the community tab page. Don't forget to subscribe, like. If you don't want to subscribe, you don't have to. I only do this obviously purely for my enjoyment. I mean, obviously, I like to share obviously what I do with most of you guys because you guys obviously are the ones who pretty much keep me going. So any viewerships, any likes, if you want to subscribe, go for it. The benefit of subscribing, by the way, you will get a notification if you click the bell. In that case, obviously, you'll get a notification when the next live obviously will be. So, right, thank you all obviously for joining, and I hope you all have obviously a fantastic week. And obviously, next time we'll be doing another live. Will hopefully be, I believe, if I have a look at it very likely it'll probably be the 15th of June, the next live. I mean, after that, the next live after that will be the 29th. So yeah, so we've got 15th of June, the 29th of June, the 30th of June is when obviously some of the football pre-season that I follow will be going back. Obviously, will be coming back. So yep. So see you all, and